13 years ago, we lost an icon. Years of tabloid fodder made it easy to believe it was all just a tragic accident. But was it really? Today, we will examine the details surrounding the mysterious passing of Whitney Houston. Like most superstars of her caliber, Whitney Houston traveled with an entourage. Whitney's entourage consisted of Gary Houston, her eldest brother. Gary primarily served as Whitney's backup singer. However, he still traveled with her whether she was singing or not. Pat Houston, Gary's wife, who was employed as Whitney's manager. Pat's brother, Ray, who was employed as Whitney's bodyguard. And Pat's aunt, Mary, who was employed as Whitney's assistant. Then, of course, you had her daughter, Bobby Christina. Then you had Nick. On the particular weekend in question, you also had a man known by Raffles, who, according to Whitney's nephew, was also very close with Pat Houston. Already there appears to be a theme here. Whitney Houston's official cause of transition is listed as drowning. She was said to have traces of cocaine in her system, but not enough to overdose. So, the coroner said she must have done some cocaine, which caused some type of heart event, which caused her to faint, land in the tub, and then drown. The following facts have been presented about Whitney's last moments. Number 10. She was taking a bath. What you are viewing is taken directly from the coroner's final report. The witness is Whitney's assistant, who is Mary, Pat's aunt. It says, before she left, she told the descendant to go take a bath to start getting ready for tonight. The personal assistant then left to go pick up items at Neiman Marcus. Okay. Hold it right there. Whitney Houston was a grown woman, and she was the boss. Furthermore, the one thing her family and friends have stated over and over again is that nobody told Whitney what to do. However, here we have her assistant telling her to take a bath. This sounds ridiculous to me. Nevertheless, Mary told the police that she told Whitney to take a bath as she was leaving. However, in the documentary released by Whitney's estate, Mary shared that when she left, Whitney was already in the bath.
So I ran the water. She got in the tub. And I left her smiling, brushing her hair in the tub.
Number 9. Whitney was brushing her hair. So, not only does Mary state that Whitney was already in the bath, but she says Whitney was brushing her hair in the bathtub. This also doesn't quite make any sense, because the coroner said Whitney was wearing a wig. Not only that, but her hairstylist had a 3:30 call time. So, the assistant left at 2:45, and Whitney was in the bathtub, according to her, brushing her hair. Yet, her hairstylist was supposed to be there in about 45 minutes to do her hair. Of course, we also have confirmation about that from Pat Houston. In the Oprah interview, when she described her slow walk to Whitney's room, she said she saw the hairstylist drop to her knees. So, the hairstylist was there, and she was supposed to be there at 3:30. Okay, so let's just go with Mary's latest story, that Whitney was already in the tub. She was brushing her wig and getting ready for the hairstylist to arrive. This means that Whitney had to get out of the tub, because at some point, Whitney had to take a brutal fall into the tub in order to obtain the trauma that occurred to her face. Just take a look at the damage that was done to her face. She had a busted lip. She had some kind of scrapes or burns on the left side of her nose. She has some damage on the left side of her forehead. Then further damage noted in the middle of her forehead. Number 8. Was it Neiman Marcus or cupcakes? Mary told the police that her and Pat went to Neiman Marcus. However, that is not what she said in the documentary. In the documentary, she said she left because Whitney wanted her to go and get her some cupcakes.
She said, Mary, I just want a sprinkle cupcake. I swear, get two, but I won't eat but one.
Now here is where it really gets crazy. Number 7. Mary said the lights were off. That's correct. Mary stated that when she returned to the hotel, the lights were off, and the water in the room came up to her ankles. So, not only did Whitney have to get out of the tub, So that she could have that brutal fall into the tub, she had to possibly put on a wig, because she was allegedly brushing her hair. And then, she had to turn off the lights. And not only turn off the lights, she had to run the water until there was about 2 to 3 inches of water in the suite. And then she had to turn the water off. Yeah, that's right. Number 6. Mary said the water was turned off. Ladies and gentlemen, if Whitney Houston suddenly fainted due to a heart event while using cocaine, then that suggests that she deliberately ran the water, flooded her hotel room, and turned off the lights. Number 5. That water was hot. That water was 93.5 degrees 6 hours after they pulled her body from the tub. That is hot. Her skin was burned. She had scald burns all over her body. I think we can agree, she did not lay down in this tub voluntarily. She was burned. Number 4. The scrapes and bruises. Now, while the coroner's completely bogus, negligent, haphazard theory could account for the bruises to her face, it doesn't even acknowledge the scrapes on her knees, her elbows, her knuckles, her fingertips. All of these scrapes and bruises weren't there before. This is less than 48 hours earlier. Her skin was clear. Her skin is in good condition. I believe Whitney fought for her life. Number 3. The alcohol. There was an open can of beer and an open bottle of champagne in the room. Mary, her assistant, stated that Whitney was drinking the alcohol. However, the toxicology report for Whitney found 0 alcohol in her body. So, somebody else must have been in the room drinking the alcohol and the wine, because it wasn't in her body. Now, her assistant said that she had a conversation with Whitney, and Whitney stated, "Mary, I gotta get my life together. I've gotta see Jesus." With all the inconsistencies in this woman's story, for all we know, Whitney's last words to her were, "Please, help me." Number 2. Everyone left. Why did everyone leave?
Same hotel?
In the same hotel, just
Down the hall?
on the lower level, next floor. We're usually on the same floor, but this time we were on a different floor. But I was working in my room and decided I needed to go pick up something pertaining to the party. Mary checked on her before she left. When we returned, the makeup artist was waiting in the lobby along with my executive assistant, and I told her to just wait there. Mary was going to check to make sure she was ready. I was going to her room. She had been asking for me all morning.
Through texting or?
Through Mary, and she called my phone twice. It's usually I go up and I see her, and that was one day that I didn't.
I think that speaks for itself. Staying on a different floor when normally you'd be on the same floor. You're ignoring her calls when normally you would respond. I think that says a lot. Number 1. Motive. So why would Whitney's family do something like this? Well, I'd say jealousy and money. Firstly, this wasn't really Whitney's family. You had her brother, but then you had his wife and her family. This was Pat's family. Ray, the bodyguard, is Pat's brother. Mary is Pat's aunt. Gary's son from his first wife stated that Gary and Pat seemed to revel in Bobby Christina's destruction. I'd wager a guess that they reveled in Whitney's destruction also. The following clips seem to support that.
They said that Red and I are trying to be like Whitney and Tracy, and I'm like, she's not there. She's not I'm not this guy. My daughter graduated high school. My daughter was in college. My girl got to the 7th grade. Are you kidding me? We had to be shine. Yeah, everybody's talking about it. Trying to be think someone could be there. I'm trying to be like that. I'm trying to follow that path. I'm trying to follow the path. So, it's like We kept normalcy in our life because we didn't allow them into our space. Too bad we can come.
Also, it was stated in the documentary that Whitney was facing some financial challenges. Pat and the family pushed her to go on that tour when she didn't really have the voice to do it, but they pushed her to do it for the money. So, I think it's fair to say that she had to have been considering making some changes to her staff and how much money she was paying out. In all likelihood, these family members were overpaid. So, I think it's likely that people like Gary and Pat had some concern about their financial future with regards to Whitney, who had been their personal ATM. So, I think those are some things to consider. I can only speculate about who could have done this. The bodyguard said that he went by Whitney's room and stood at the door. For all we know, he just said that in case somebody saw him by her room at the door. They also said that Mary screamed when she walked in. They could be covering the case someone actually heard Whitney scream. We just don't know. But isn't it ironic how the people who really needed the money just so happened to end up with all of the money?